Every time I walk into the garden, I'm always smelling something delicious, whether it's the squash, the tomatoes, or the cucumbers, or the corn, or anything else. But today's a little bit different. Today, I'm going to go over something else that I planted that's just absolutely essential for me into the kitchen, and that is herbs. Herbs are just the essential need that I have in my kitchen because it just adds so much flavor to everything I grow and to everything I cook. And I tell you what, it just takes a tomato or a squash and takes it from a 10 to 100. And I tell you what, I'm always in need to make everything taste 100 times better. So for the herbs, I just bought a few 8-inch pots at my local store for about a couple of bucks each. They'll do pretty well on them, especially when I'm just nipping off whatever I need for my cooking. But if they do ever outgrow the pots, I can always just repot them up into a larger size. But as long as I'm constantly using them, they'll be compact and just be able to thrive in these little pots. And I've also gotten pots that are like blue, white, green, just to add a little bit more color to my garden, and a little bit just so I can just, it sort of pops. I love when I garden I can just see blues, whites, greens, reds, blacks, any color I could think of. So my first two herbs that I picked out were oreganos. One's a Greek oregano and the other one is a Italian oregano. And I love pasta and I love being able to do flavors with them, and oregano goes great with pasta and pesto and basically anything you kind of want to do with them. I like to be able to experiment with these herbs to see maybe I might like something that I didn't know. And so I picked out Greek and Italian because when I used to use oregano in the stores from the dried seasonings, actually I don't know if I use Italian or Greek, and I can smell the differences, but I will have to actually compare them to the seasonings I already got in the house from the store and to see the differences. But it'd be fun to compare the differences between two oreganos and see maybe which one I might like better. Or I could just like them both the same, but just differently. And another great herb for pastas is the basil. Um, Between the oregano and the basil, it's probably my most used in pastas or pizzas or anything like that. And it's just a great herb to have. I also picked out the Italian parsley because I grow a few veggies slash herbs that are great for like garnishes. Because I also grow like radishes and things like that, and celery that could be also used as garnish if you want to. But I love parsley because it's just a great garnish. And plus, after I eat, I kind of feel like I need something a little bit refreshing. I feel like things are just stuck in my teeth and the flavor's just stuck there. So I'll chop off a few of these and put them with my meals, and that way I can just sort of, it's a more of a refreshingness, and to clean everything out, and I love that. But on the other hand, I also love chives, and I love the deep flavor of the chives, and I never grew up liking a lot of onions. I love them all now, but I love kind of like anything like the green. I do like green onions, but I also love chives because it's sort of like I feel as like it's a mix between garlic and onions almost to me. But you can grow these out and you can just sort of snip anything you want and it'll keep growing. I usually just sort of snip off the outsides and then I'll chop them up and put them in anything I'm cooking, whether it's a meat dish or a veggie dish, anything you want with them. And I just love, it's just really a deep flavor. A few things you might eat that are refreshing, but this is just sort of like, I also like garlic, and it's kind of one of those things that might stay with you, but it's just so delicious. And I can't forget the rosemary. I think every Thanksgiving meal I've ever had in my entire life, my mom has always used rosemary in with meals. And I don't know what it's about it, and I don't know if I would ever picked it up on my own, but I think it's just sort of like the memories of all the great meals I've ever had as a kid. And so I had to pick up rosemary. And it's just a great herb to have. And if anybody's ever had a Thanksgiving turkey and they've stuffed it with, rosemary, it was just aroma that was just brings you back to your childhood, kind of. Now let's talk about one of the greatest things to add to water. I love, being able to just drink a water on a hot day, but sometimes you just sort of get tired of the same old flavor. I mean, I guess you can call water a flavor, but it is something that you really need. But sometimes I like to have a little bit of flavor. I mean, I don't want to just drink the same thing every single day if I don't have to. I like to add a little spice to it. So one of the two things I do, besides lemon, is I will put mint in it. Whether it's a spearmint, peppermint, or anything else like that. I do love to have a little bit of flavor, and you can just take a few leaves off and put them in a nice cold ice water and just enjoy the different flavor to it. Now, one thing with mint, though, is if you're growing it, I would recommend growing it into a pot because they will just grow up everywhere. I have mint, in my yard, and I'm like, I don't even know where that came from. I'm like, did I plant something there? I was like, I don't think so. I think I planted it on the other side of the yard. Somehow it just miraculously just pops up wherever it wants. But it is a very good added to water. And you can just add it to dishes or anything else you like to do with that. It's more of a sweetener, which is good for my health. And I like to be able to have alternatives to sweeteners to drinks just so that I'm kind of mindful of what I put in myself. And this is the step garden I'm building, and with my family, just sort of put more herbs into them, like a dill or sage or bay leaves. And, I kind of like to have them in different places. One of the key important with herbs is kind of having them enclosed to your house. That way, when you need them, you just sort of go right outside your house and just grab them. But I'll also put them next to certain plants that might benefit, like I'll put my oregano next to my tomato plants. I feel like they're just really great together. And, it kind of just depends on what you want to do. But a lot of times, when you want to grab something quick, you want to grab something quick. You don't want to have to go, halfway across your lawn to go get a couple herbs. So I like to be able to put some herbs into pots. That way I can just sort of grab them when I need to. And I can place them wherever I need to. And that way, if I want them close to the house, I'm close to the house. But having them in ground too is great too, because if they get really, really big, I don't have to worry about transplanting any of these herbs like this. And just for an honorable mention, which is an herb I don't eat, but I do it for my cats, is catnip. And we all know about the little dried catnip that people put in little balls or chew toys, and the cats go wild about it. So I love to just grow something for the cats and see, how much they will like it. I've actually grown a few, and when they're too young, the cats sort of destroy them. So I like to try to grow them out a little bit bigger, so that way they may survive a little bit more. But yeah, so all these herbs are just really great, whether it's for you, whether it's for your pets. I'd always do a little bit of research and see what's good for you, what's best for you, and anything like that. So that way you are just aware of kind of the needs that you have.